all I'm witnessing is a grown adult man act like a baby, and I'm supposed to laugh at that? I'm supposed to think that's funny? I don't find that funny. I think that you're being held captive. I think you're a prisoner. Like, what are we talking about? And then people are in the comments like, girl, save yourself. And she's like, you're judging my relationship. Like, I didn't do anything. You posted this online. You posted this online like a funny joke. The punchline is that your husband is incompetent. Okay. That's what we're all saying in the comments too. Like, what did you think that you posted?
Dude, where are you? Pick up your phone. We're going to summer party tonight, and you're obviously invited, so call me back. Okay, love you. Bye.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Emotionally Online, the weekly summer party for heart-to-hearts and hot gossip, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drossbeck, who is in recovery mode. Recovery mode from the family vacation. Number one, I do not understand when people travel and they're like, oh my God, I feel like I leave the city and I just get so much more beautiful. My skin is glowing. My hair feels silky soft. I'm just like thriving when I'm not here. I have the opposite experience. I am my most beautiful in New York City. I am at my most prime here. The second I leave, I am slowly deteriorating. If I lived in a warm climate, I'm not kidding, I'd be dead by 35. It's not working for me. I got sunburnt on day one in my family vacation to St. Thomas. It was cloudy on day one. We were all drinking rum punches on the beach. All of us got sunburnt day goddamn one. So I spent the whole week red as hell. Now I'm peeling. I was also covered in bug bites. I'm not kidding, 7 on my right butt cheek. It's crazy. I just feel like I shouldn't be outside. I wasn't built for it. My body's not built for sunlight. My body was not built for insects. Some people can avoid insects. They go outside and the bugs don't like them. The bugs love me, okay? I'm delicious to them. I am the most scrumptious, delectable treat that they've ever come across. I shouldn't be outside. I should be preserved in a museum, okay, behind glass where nobody can touch me or come near me. The second I go somewhere else, I'm breaking out, I'm red, I'm itchy, and my hair feels dry as hell when I wash it in any other water other than New York. Can't tell you the science on that. I just know that every time I leave my house and try to wash my hair, it does not feel as good as when I'm here in New York water with all of my various products. I am a high maintenance woman. It is what it is. I need to be here. I cannot be there. And I'm just grateful to be back. But that's kind of the beautiful part of living in your favorite city in the world. It's always more exciting to come home than it is to go on vacation. So that's kind of beautiful and kind of nice. Not only do I feel and exist the most comfortably here, but this is just the best place to be. To live full time in the place that you love most in the world. Oh, it is a gift that is never lost on me, baby. So I am excited to be back with peace and love to my family. We did have a good vacation, but the Drossbeck family is, at the end of the day, the Drossbeck family. And those of you who are longtime watchers of my YouTube channel know that my family is a little cuckoo bananas. And as much as I love them, it is never a relaxing time. No, you can't go on a vacation and relax in my family. First of all, I made one of those videos. There's a TikTok trend going around where you edit your family vacation like a reality TV show. When my sister and I saw this trend, we were like, okay, so we're going to make the best one. Okay, so everything that everyone else has been doing in this trend, not going to hold a candle to what we're going to do. So throughout the week, we were secretly filming everybody's crash outs because we knew we were going to edit it together. And Morgan and I'm not kidding, the last night of the trip, we were laying in my bed laughing so hard I could not breathe. I had to ask her to stop talking. Like, I'm afraid for my life right now with how hard I'm laughing at this. The original video was 5 minutes, and then we realized the TikTok clip was 20 seconds. So we had to cut it down to just our favorite little clips. It's on my Instagram. Go check it out if you want to see it. But when I posted it online, one of the first comments that someone posted was, "Do you guys even like each other?" Which I thought was so funny. It was someone on TikTok who didn't follow me either. Like, they were served this video at random, came across their feed, they saw it, and they were like, does anyone in this family fucking like each other? Which is hilarious. And my first response to seeing that was just to be like, I totally get it. Two thoughts here, actually. Thought number one is that you must not be from Massachusetts. You must not be from New England in general, because this is just how people from Massachusetts talk. I hate to break it to you. Like, my family is very crass and loud, and we have routinely been the like loudest family in the restaurant my whole entire life. And everyone that I have grown up around talks like that. They're loud, they're swearing. They might sound angry, but that is really just how they speak. This has been true for every single person I've ever grown up around in my whole life. That was my first thought. And my second thought was, you must be an only child. Just because I'm like, if your family vacations didn't look like this, and you just are from a family that everyone gets along and there's no fighting and you're all peace and love and you don't swear around each other, and you're just, I don't know, you guys are the Brady Bunch, essentially. If that is your family dynamic, I have to assume one of two things, if not both. You're not from Massachusetts and you don't have siblings. Because I just feel like if you're from Massachusetts and you have siblings, your family probably behaves the same exact way mine does. Unless your parents are like super Catholic. And then maybe not. But I feel like if you come from a non-religious Massachusetts family with siblings, you understand what the Drossback family vibe is. Everyone in my family is big drinkers. So we go on these vacations and everyone is sloshed. I drink the least of everyone in my family. I really don't get drunk ever. I drink for the pleasure of it all. Sometimes I get drunk. Listen, you've seen me when I'm drunk. I know that I'll never live down the monkey on my back cliff. That was a lot for me. But usually I'm the most sober one of my family on these trips. They go a little crazy. Really, my parents are the rowdiest of all of us. So the majority of the clips that I had to go through were my parents. And that is the Massachusetts in them. You know, I actually feel that sibling beef is more a thing of the past now. Like, my siblings and I really aren't arguing with each other. Maybe a little bit, but not really. Most of the time it's my parents going well over the line. So, listen, it's my family, not yours. You don't have to live with them. Neither do I, but I am attached to them biologically, emotionally, spiritually, forever. I do love them. They are crazy. So I needed a little recoup, a little rest and relaxation moment. So that's what I'm giving today. I did not get out of my pajamas when I woke up this morning. I literally woke up, ate breakfast, did my skincare, put on these eye patches, got back into bed with my boa, and here I am talking to myself. Beautiful. Everyone lock in. And while I was away on vacation, and I think this started happening before I left, but I didn't understand the magnitude of what was happening until when I was on vacation, and my mom is receiving texts from her eyelash girl being like, does Maddie know that her voice is viral on TikTok? And I had known that a clip of the show had popped off on there. It was the makeout clip, the clip of me talking about how people sleep on making out. And everyone's so focused on escalating things when we need to get into making out and nothing else. And I knew that people were lip syncing to that sound because my sister had told me that, and some people had sent it to me like the week before. What I did not know was that the sound has been basically abducted by Mormons. And when you go on TikTok, go to the Emotionally Online Podcast TikTok account. The video is pinned. Click on the sound and scroll through some of the people that are lip syncing to it. I'm not fucking kidding. It's damn near 100% Mormons being like, POV, you're saving yourself till marriage. And it's like a couple lip syncing to me saying, making out and nothing else. Yeah, making out and nothing else. Ooh, 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 ooh. I was gobsmacked. The way I am so deep on Mormon talk, I'm like the voice of Mormonism right now, which is so funny. Do not tell the Mormons to listen to that clip in full. Do not tell the Mormons to get deep into this, or maybe do. Maybe do. Actually, hold on. Let me think on that. Maybe do tell the Mormons to listen to Emotionally Online. I start getting my teeth into the Mormon religion. Okay? And I start, we switch things up, right? Because if you listen to that whole clip, the Making Out of Nothing Else clip, the context of that was that I was talking about living sensually. Basically, I was talking about just taking your time with things. We're going to make out and nothing else. And then we're going to do a full month of oral. Like the context there was just indulgence, taking your time, living sensually. Okay. Being a romantic, sensual woman. That was the crux of that point. But I love that they have only listened to the first 10 seconds of that clip. And it just resonated. The Mormons heard that 10-second clip of me saying making out of nothing else. And they said, oh, Joseph Smith, he has found himself in this woman right here, this purple-haired fat lady. Oh, I love her. And I am obsessed with this, to be honest with you. I am obsessed that the Mormons have abducted me. Listen, kidnapped willingly by the Mormons. Mark me safe, babe. I'm totally okay with this. But it's because I do feel that maybe I can convert them to Maddieism. I don't know that I'm trying to start a religion, but all I'm saying here is that this show is for everyone. That even if you think that me and the Mormons couldn't be any different, somehow there is still a uniting force between us. Emotionally Online's for everybody, okay? I'm catering to the masses. I'm sticking my paws in every demographic possible. I didn't know that the Mormons and I were going to link up in 2026. This is the year that keeps on giving. And listen, I fuck with the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Do you think they saw one? Do you think one of their feeds was full of someone being like, POV, you're a Mormon. POV, you're waiting till marriage. And also, so many of those videos have the comments turned off. Like, I just can't imagine what people were saying under them. I feel like an accessory. Like, I had no involvement in this. My voice is just being used. I did not say anything Mormon. Let it be known. I am not religious, okay? And I famously, about 2 months ago, was doing something that I called Slut Saturday. So everyone, just to be clear, not that anyone thought this, me and the Mormons, we don't really see eye to eye on a lot of this stuff. But they've still found a voice in me. And I think that's beautiful. I do. I think there's some part of that is beautiful and uniting. And at the end of the day, I was abducted by Mormons. How many people can say that? How many people can say that? Speaking of TikTok, I saw a TikTok the other day that I wanted to bring to the show because it seems to perfectly articulate what Meg and I were talking about a couple episodes ago about sort of the state of dating as an emotionally available dater. And this guy seems to have some credentials, so I'm going to let him speak because I heard it and I liked what he had to say. And I need the lover girls to hear it too. This video is from someone named Alex Enrique at apark10 on TikTok. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hear me out. I think emotionally available daters are having the hardest time dating in modern dating in 2026. So for context, I'm a doctoral candidate. I research emotions, and a lot of my research focuses on the emotional experiences of women. So just combined with what I've heard in studies that I've done on, I focus on teacher burnout, emotional labor, but combined with that, in relation to just conversations I've had and a conversation I had with a best friend of mine recently, I've started to think through this. So this is what I'm thinking, that affectively or emotionally available people are having the hardest time because in dating, we've just become so rewired to expect people to be capricious and to expect uncertainty. We're so used to rostering and churn. We're so used to go on a few dates with someone, that person falls off the roster, we add someone on. And so I think that when we have an emotionally available dater who knows what they want, they're giving clear communication, boundaries, consistency, follow through, intentionality. And I think that that can be conflated with pressure. That for people who aren't used to experiencing those things and they're used to not hearing from someone for 36 hours or only getting a date planned in the last minute, that's what we have come to understand the baseline of dating is. So when someone is actively doing the things that we know deep down a lot of us are seeking, people are like, wait, this is a bit much. This person's intense. But when it's nonchalant and it's inconsistent and it's ambiguous and we know that there's a potential for it to be fugacious, then there's no pressure, right? Because we're just so used to people being nonchalant. But for these chalant daters, right, the people who are intentional, the people who are emotionally available, they may often seek clarification if there's ambiguity really early, and that can also be seen as pressure. Like, wait, why is a person, we've only been on 2 dates, why are they trying to understand our communication pattern? Or why are they trying to make sure that we have a date planned within the next 5 days? And as someone who worked in an adult attachment lab my first round of grad school, I also feel like people who are anxiously attached and avoidant have a higher threshold for what's going on in modern dating. I think that people who are securely attached and emotionally available will back out of these ambiguous situations really early and altogether just leave the apps, right? The people who are like, I can't do it anymore, or like, I'm not getting the follow through, this just isn't working for me. And they'll back out and just actively eschew dating. But I think that for people who are avoidant, they'll thrive on this baseline of being inconsistent, right? And they thrive on the ghosting scenarios. And for those who are anxiously attached, unfortunately, our anxiously attached friends are just trapped in the web of the apps because there is so much the unknown and the uncertainty. And then it just creates this dopaminergic high of uncertainty to reassurance, right? That like you're feeling uncertain about someone, you think they might be ghosting you, and then out of nowhere they send you a text like, hey, do you want to go out on Tuesday night? And then you're back to this, okay, they're into it again. But for securely attached people, that inconsistency isn't acceptable and they won't have it. So they'll just start to self-select out of dating. And so this is where I've landed in modern dating, is that I think that our friends who are chalant and who are knowing what they want, emotionally available, securely attached, are out here in the trenches.
When I saw this TikTok, I was like, okay, exactly. This is exactly what Meg and I were talking about. And I just love that there's someone out there who is like a doctoral candidate actually doing research in this shit that is like, hey, wait a minute. These girlies are correct. He has no idea who we are. But that's what it felt like to me. To be served this video on my algorithm, I was like, okay, so we are right. So we were correct. And listen, I already knew that, but it's just nice to be validated every now and then. Come on now. I like validation. And honestly, a lot of this just makes me sad because I think back to, I mean, if you're a longtime listener of this show or watcher of my videos, you know that like 5 years ago at this point, whoa, that's crazy. 5 years ago, I took a year off of dating to kind of help myself feel more confident in expressing what I wanted and not feeling ashamed for having expectations in dating, setting boundaries. I routinely felt like I was too much or too intense, and I would be afraid to say how I was feeling. I was really scared of rejection at that time, and I knew that I wanted to feel more secure in myself and what I was looking for, what I was comfortable with. And I didn't want to keep falling into these situations with people who were inconsistent and non-communicative. And I was too scared to express to them that didn't work for me. And even before this year of no dating, I would eventually call it out. I'm not a passive person. I'm sure that's obvious. But it would take me a while to like work up the confidence to say what it is that I wanted. I was definitely playing cool girl in college a lot. And I knew that it wasn't me. I knew that it wasn't aligned with how I felt. I was just, I really wanted to be liked. I really wanted to be accepted. And I think when you're young, when you're in your early 20s, you have this belief that like you can cool girl yourself into a partnership with someone. And if only you are easy breeze enough, if you are just chill and it's like, yeah, we can hang out whenever, or we cannot. I don't even care. I don't care about anything. I literally haven't even thought of this at all. Like you believe that you can cool girl yourself into connecting with someone. And I think at that age, when you're in your early 20s in college, a lot of daters do this nonchalant bullshit. They're like, I don't actually want to date. I'm just trying to fuck around and whatever. And so everyone's trying to pretend that they care less than they actually do. And I was learning that just didn't work for me. Took that year off of dating to get really clear with myself, to sort of build up my own internal confidence and relationship with myself. And I still, at many points in time of this podcast, have cited that year as being like a year that really changed my life in so many ways. And that's still true to this day. It was a major confidence boost for me. That was also the year that YouTube became a like viable career path for me. I quit my job at the end of 2021. And I look back on that time and think like, thank God that I made the decisions that I did and I took that time, because it changed the way that I was able to show up in dating. And after that point, dating also became like so deprioritized in my life in general. I've dated way less over the last 5 years as a result of that. And I actually really like that. I think that it's been kind of awesome to be much more selective and just have a much clearer vision inside my head of what I'm looking for and what I'm not, and what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not. But I'll have moments where I look back and I feel sad about the version of myself that felt like I was too much and too intense and was too scared to say the things out loud that I will say readily right now. The version that I am today, the version that I have become over the last 5 years since I hit that point where I was like, God, I'm like scared to show up as myself and be vulnerable and admit that I actually want something with more depth. I'm like scared to tell someone that I don't like it when they ghost me for a week and they come back and act like nothing's wrong. Like, I'm afraid to draw that line, to say that that's not okay. And you can't just go away and come back whenever is convenient to you. If you're going to be pursuing me, you have to come with consistency and good communication, or I'm not interested. And it's interesting because I think that the better I have gotten at dating, the less I have dated. The better I've got at communicating, the less I have dated. The better that I have gotten at understanding what I want and what I'm comfortable with, the less I have dated. And a lot of that is natural, right? You just become more selective, more clear on what it is that you want and what you're willing to tolerate and what you're not. But another part of it is just the culture and timeline that we exist within in the dating universe. I live in New York, which has famously been declared the worst city to date in. Maybe that's true. Who knows? And truly, every single emotionally available dater that I know is having this exact same experience. And I'm grateful to know now that being a well-boundaried woman with a clear picture in my head of how I want to be treated and what the kind of relationship that I want would make me feel like, I'm grateful that I know now that having clarity on those things does not make me intense, nor does it make me too much. And I always go back to a quote that I found during my year of no dating that resonated with me then and continues to resonate with me now, which is just that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And the right person for you will be able to hear your boundaries, hear your requests for more clarity and communication, and meet you where you are at. There is so much room in dating for people to be imperfect, for you and I to be imperfect. I'm not saying, nor do I think that any emotionally available dater is saying, that everyone has to be perfect at communication and show up, 100% consistently all the time, right? Life is life, things happen. But you should be able to talk about your feelings and about what isn't working in early stage dating without it being like, whoa, that's a lot. I don't subscribe to this idea that I should be nonchalant in the early stages of dating. If I am dating someone and I'm getting to know someone, I want to be intentional and consistent in getting to know them, in how I communicate with them, because I want to be an active participant in my own life. If I like you, I'll say it. If I want to see you, I'll invite you out. If something hurts my feelings, I'll tell you. If I'm confused about something, I'll ask for clarity. It doesn't have to be that personal or complicated to me, because I have so much clarity on what it is that I want, what it is that I bring to a relationship, and because I'm genuinely open to finding someone that I can really build something beautiful and substantial with. I'm also obviously open-minded about having fun throughout that process. The journey of figuring out if someone is right for me or if they're not, the process of getting to know someone. But I want to be intentional and well-boundaried and communicate well throughout the process of learning those things. And it is so silly that to be direct and to have clarity and to seek clarity could be seen as being too intense or too much. It's just absurd. It's actually absurd to me. But to go back to what I said, the right person for you would probably not have that reaction. The right person for you is going to be able to hear and receive those things from you without like bugging out at you. Whoa, that's a lot. That's intense. Like that. The right person for you is not reacting that way. I'm telling you that right now. And the last time Meg was on the show, we were talking about how we've been in situations where people have taken our like basic kindness and interest in someone that we've been out with as pressure when it's not at all. The example that we were talking about was Meg had gone on a date with someone. Someone that she had gone on dates with was becoming less communicative, but she was giving them the benefit of the doubt because she knew that they had been sick, texted them to ask how they were feeling, and basically got this response that was like, whoa, I think that maybe you're looking for something different than I am. And Meg was like, we have not had that conversation. Not sure where you got that perception, but sure. And I feel like most people who are dating intentionally have probably come across something similar to this themselves as well. You start going out with someone, you guys are really hitting it off. You're in the process of getting to know each other, and you are expressing interest, care, kindness towards them because you're in the early stages of dating and you want to be sweet and thoughtful and flirty. You want to be clear that you have interest and want to keep seeing that person. But some people will take that as being like, oh, so you want to marry me? And it's like, well, no. All I knew was that I was having a great time so far and I would like to continue seeing you. That's all I knew. That's as far as I've gotten with this. This is just how I am. This is just how I treat people. I am not going to act like I'm uninterested. I'm not going to be nonchalant about it. I'm not going to be not direct. I'm not going to not check up on you. Hello? Like I am not moved by this performance of indifference. I don't think that's how you connect with people. And to be honest with you, I said it then and I'll say it now. Apathy is killing your flirt game. So many people want to make it seem like they do not care that much. You're not that interested. You're so afraid of coming off as too much that y'all aren't good at flirting anymore. I'm sorry. You are very boring to talk to. You are confusing flirting with pressure. That's absurd. That is absurd. Someone is trying to earnestly get to know you better and intentionally pursue you. And you're like, whoa, that's a lot. You guys are going to be stuck in this cycle of, hey, WYD, you up for the rest of your life if you don't get over yourself expeditiously. I can't deal with it. Emotionally available daters are having a terrible time right now, and it's because apathy and indifference and playing it cool all the fucking time is making you boring as hell. And to my emotionally available daters out there listening to this, trust that there are other emotionally available daters that will match your energy. And truly all you can do is to continue showing up as your authentic self, continue communicating with clarity, leading vulnerably, and remembering that you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. You keep doing you. You are perfect, baby, okay? You don't worry about anything, all right? It's not you. It's them. And if somebody hasn't told you that yet, I'll be the one to tell you. You're doing fine. Don't worry about it. There are plenty of emotionally available people out there. A lot of them just aren't on dating apps. I have a topic that I'm dying to hear your opinions on, what the general consensus of this is. But I saw some people online talking about the ethics of telling your partner your friend's secrets and sort of how people feel about that. You tell your best friend something that's going on in your life. You confide in them, something deeply personal. When they're laying in bed that night, they regurgitate that information to their partner. How do we feel about this? I would assume that most people are not into that. They don't think it's okay. They don't want to feel like the second their friend enters a relationship, they are signing on for this new random fucking person to hear about all of the intimate details of their life. I would assume that most people feel that way. And I was thinking about where I would sit on the matter, because I think that I'm probably an outlier in this conversation, because most of the time I don't think I care. But this is because I'm really not a secretive person. And I mean, obviously I talk about my life and my feelings publicly every single week. I think a lot of the things that I would confide in my friends about, I also talk about them publicly in some way. Obviously they get the more intimate retellings, the details of everything, but I'll also be open about a lot of it online after some time has passed. So I'm not a very private person. So the idea of one of my friends telling their partner about my personal business is not necessarily the biggest deal to me, because I'm not that private. And because I feel like if they're dating one of my best friends, they've been vetted by one of my best friends, they're almost in the circle of trust now too, because my best friends are the best people on earth. So I'm going to, trust their judgment with their partners and say that that's fine. There are some boundaries to things though. Like I think that there are some subjects that I would not want repeated, and I would say these things out loud. So I think my friends would know exactly which things I wouldn't want repeated, and I would hope that they would not repeat those things. And I think there's a certain level of detail that's probably appropriate versus not appropriate. Like I could care less if someone was like, oh, Maddie's dealing with some family stuff right now. That's fine. You can say that. Oh, Maddie's dealing with, some broad category, rather than being like, oh, this, and this happened to Maddie, and she said this, and this person said this, and you're showing them like screenshots of text that I've sent you. That's over the line. But like, if you're just going to recount what I've said to your partner, I don't really care about that. I don't know. There's a lot of subjects I really would not give a fuck about. Dating, you can tell your partner everything that I've ever said to you about dating. I don't give a fuck. Like, I literally don't care. Tell them everything. I don't care. But the other exception to this, and this goes both for partners and for like other people's friends, and this is constantly true for me, and I think that my friends know this about me, which is that if, let's say, my friend's partner comes to them and is talking about something that's going on in their life, and they think inside their head, oh, Maddie's been through that exact same thing, and maybe it's something that I don't talk about publicly, and it would be considered a more secretive thing, but they know that they could relate to me or find a connection there with me to feel less alone by sharing this secret of mine. I'm always okay with someone sharing within that context. I think to me it then becomes like more of like a community thing where it's like, this person needs someone, this person needs to know they aren't alone, they're seeking community or understanding in some way, and I can offer that. Even if it's a secret, I'm fine with someone sharing that with someone else because I think it's helpful. You know what I mean? It doesn't bother me that much. So I think my take on the matter is that for the most part, I think that you have to use your best judgment in understanding what's appropriate to share and what isn't. I do think that most things for most people probably should not be repeated. I think most people probably don't want their secrets shared with their best friends' partners. But if your best friend is Maddie Drosbeck, maybe the rules are a little different, If your best friend is super public, if your best friend doesn't give a fuck, then it really doesn't matter as much. But I would assume that the majority of people don't fuck with it at all. But I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Like, what is the line of information shared, secrets shared with your best friend's partners that you would be offended by versus not offended by? Do you want all of your secrets locked up, never to be shared with anyone? Are there exceptions if they can relate to it and it's like a a more community comfort effort, like I've mentioned? Are there certain topics that are off limits and others are fair game? What are the levels here? Curious to know your thoughts. Sort of connected to this, though, I will tell you something that I do hate is like when I call a friend crying and I don't know that there's someone else in the room, and then after like 30 minutes of me having a level 10 crash out, I learned that the partner was in the room the whole time. That I hate. I'm more comfortable with a retelling, you telling your partner after the fact, like, oh, Maddie's going through this, X, X, and X happened to her, versus your partner hearing me in real time have a crash out. That to me is so vulnerable. You can retell what happened later all you want, but to be in the same room unknowingly and have them like listen in on my crash out, that is, I hate that. That is absolutely where my line is. They can hear about it later, depending on what it is. But do not, if I call you crashing out, either tell me that you're busy or walk into another room, because I did not sign up for this man to hear about all of the worst things happening in my life in real time. You know what I mean? Because I'm like I process with my friends a lot of the time. Like I think about my best friends and the state that they've seen me in. They've seen me crashing out in ways that no other people on earth have seen me crash out. You know, I will crash out with them. I will be my messiest self with them in a way that I would not be with the majority of other people on earth. I want to reserve that like messy, raw, in the middle of processing something self for the people I trust the most. And my friend's partner, unless they are also a very close friend of mine, does not meet that threshold. And I do think that most people would agree with that too. Interested to hear your thoughts on this though, because I assume that most people are going to be anti and wanting to keep their secrets locked down, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're an outlier the way that I believe that I'm probably an outlier, or maybe we discover that we're not outliers. And maybe we just don't have any like crazy secrets, you know? Like I don't have any, my secrets are all pretty normal, I would say. I don't think that I have anything to hide, really. I don't know, you tell me. Comment below. All right, let's get into some lover girl submissions. Let's see what the hell has been going on in your lives. Hi, Maddie. Since I was a child, I liked writing stories. I posted works online on Fiction Press in the 2010s, but after a plagiarism scandal involving others, not me, I got too scared to post my stories online. This is when I started sharing exclusively fan fiction online. I've written millions of words by this point. I've posted novellas that have not only entertained but touched people's lives. However, I feel a deep sense of shame that this is all meaningless because it's not books that I intend to publish. I took time off from fan fiction to focus on only original works. I love writing, so I loved writing those pieces, but eventually, slowly, I stopped writing entirely. A year passes, and I write a fan fiction for fun. Something short, less than 1,000 words. I posted it online, people read it, and commented that they liked it. This was incredibly meaningful to me, but still that shame persisted. I felt like this was all a waste because it amounts to nothing. I don't feel this way about other creative pursuits. I also knit, crochet, cross-stitch, and do terrible watercolors. I have no anxiety around keeping those as hobbies. How can I feel at peace with writing only being a hobby? I've accepted that's all I want this to be. I don't want this to become work, but I feel ashamed nevertheless. I think it's very easy for the opinions of other people or like the general public perception of something to get into our heads and change the way that we see it or the way that it sits with us in our bodies. And I've experienced this in a different way, but there's some overlap here with just my interest in YouTube and content creation. I've talked about this before, but I went to college for film. And I have dated people that have really belittled my interest in social media content and using my film degree to pursue a career in social media versus going the traditional film route. And my interest has always been in social media. I grew up on the internet. I grew up wanting to make YouTube videos. I interned at social media companies when I was in college. When I graduated college, I worked in social media. Now I work for myself doing social media. My interest has always been in the social media sect. I love video production, but I love social video production. Could I also see myself working in movies someday? Maybe, who knows? You guys also know that I love movies and, film in other major ways. But for me, when I think about what brings me the most amount of joy, it's creating social media video content. YouTube videos, podcasts. This is what I enjoy the most. And for the majority of time that I've been making content, it has not been my career. So I'm a little different to you in the sense that I wanted it to be my career, but I did this for so long when it wasn't providing me any kind of financial compensation at all. And there were definitely times that I felt self-conscious about my interest in social media, that I could sense that people didn't see it as being as valid of a way to use my degree as other forms of creative entertainment. Even still, whenever I accomplish something or do something new, a question that I get from people is always like, so what's next? What's your next project? And to me, that's like not really how social media creative works. Like just because I launched the Pumpcast doesn't mean I'm done with it. Oh, what's next? Like, what's next is I keep doing this. What's next is I'm here and I keep making things. Like, I'm not constantly striving to do something better in the eyes of other people. Like, okay, you released a podcast. What's next? A live show? What's next? Are you gonna do a short film? What's next? To me, that's not what is fulfilling creatively. To me, I like working on the same things over and over again and growing sort of the world building of Lover Girls Worldwide, if you will. That is what is most interesting to me. I don't feel this pressure to like continuously evolve into something that is grander and seen as more like, I don't know, impressive to normies who aren't on social. Like, that's just not an objective of mine. And I think the same thing can exist in the writing world, where there are like some writers that are seen as more valid than others, or like, whether or not you're pursuing it as a career almost doesn't matter, because I think that same kind of shame and feeling like your writing is not is significant enough, or it's not a true showcase of talent because it's not something that people would take seriously. Like, I think that kind of narrative that other people have can absolutely seek into our own self-perception, even if that's not how we feel. Even if you love writing fan fiction and it brings you a lot of joy and it's like a fun creative muscle for you to stretch, and you love what you write and other people love what you write and you feel great about it, but knowing that there's people out there that are like scoffing at you and thinking that this is all a bunch of nothing, I totally understand how that can like seep into your subconscious, because there were times in my life in college and in post-grad where it absolutely seeped into mine. And to me, it is absolutely connected to like our societal push towards optimization at any cost, and how everything is always like a constant optimization project, doing something bigger and better and one-upping. But for me, like, the joy of creating is not constantly optimizing. The joy of creating is not figuring out something bigger and better and more impressive for me to do. The joy of creating is doing the things I love over and over and over again. It's finding something I love and being like, oh, I want to do this 100 more times. Like, to me, it's not about constantly topping myself. I'm not in competition with myself. I create for joy, for love of the game. I'm here because I love to do this. I'm here because I want to be here. I'm not here because I'm trying to impress someone or even top, the creative I was a year ago. I'm always trying to, challenge myself and push and grow, but my objective is not to impress. My objective is to be myself, to live in creative alignment with who I know myself to be. My goal is to show up. You know, like my goal, my life's objective is not to make a Best Picture winning movie. I'm not even thinking that far in advance. Like right now, my creative objective is to finish this week's podcast episode where I get to make my small but mighty audience giggle and think and connect with each other in the comments. My objective is to create an hour-long show where people can sit and be entertained and engage with what I'm saying in the comments. My objective is to make this one pocket of peace on the internet this week. That's what it is for me, and that's what I find joy in. I like being myself on the internet and getting to entertain people by being myself. That is awesome. It's like such a gift. And I also know that there are lots of people that just don't respect what it is that I do, or they don't see value in it, they don't like it, and that's totally fine because they're not listening to this right now. You know what I mean? But the people that are listening to this, they really love the podcast, and this is something that you look forward to listening to every week, and thank God that we all get to share in this moment together, because it's my favorite part of the week too. And like, imagine if I didn't do this just because some people scoffed at it and didn't respect it, even though it made me so happy and it was such a pocket of joy for other people as well. I think that, like, I don't know, paying attention to like the general perception of what is cool and impressive and what isn't is just ultimately kind of lame. And honestly, a lot of time these people actually do not know what is cool and impressive. A lot of the times, like, people are very, I don't know, it's like people only respect traditional media and like widely accepted forms of media. But listen, I've read some baller fucking fan fictions. People love that shit. And if you have fun writing it and you have an audience of people that's there cheering you on and they want more, fuck yeah. That is the joy of creating, getting to create something and finding an audience of people that connect and resonate with it, no matter how big or small that audience is. Like, that is awesome. That's incredible to connect with people through something that you love to create. You don't have to force yourself to turn your passions into something bigger and better and more impressive in like the eyes of this hypothetical person and what people hypothetically might say. Someone somewhere is saying this about fan fiction writers, and it impedes your ability to actually enjoy what it is that you're writing. I understand where the shame comes from, and also sometimes I think the only way to combat that shame is to continue showing up and proving to yourself that you know better than that you are someone who values obeying your creative urges over obeying the shame that has ultimately been placed inside of you from a voice that isn't yours. When you listen to your own voice, I think you end up writing, you end up creating, you focus on that. But when you are listening to other people's voices, when you're listening to that shame, of course you're not going to write, but that's not you. That's not coming from you. And I think that sometimes the only way out is through. Sometimes the only way out of the shame spiral is to force yourself to keep showing up. Stop judging yourself for loving something and seemingly being talented at something that is outside of what is considered traditionally acceptable within that medium. Have fun. Creating is about having fun at the end of the day. Who gives a fuck what anyone thinks about it? Hi, Maddie. Can I be a hater for a second? Yes, you absolutely fucking can, bitch. There's a certain type of content that has been plaguing my feeds, and I just need to tell someone. I can't stand what I call relationship ragebait content. This is where people post a video showing their partner in a bad light, doing something annoying, mean, being incompetent, etc., and then getting mad at commenters saying how their partner is actually great and you don't know our relationship from a 30-second clip. Like, why would you post a video of your partner knowing it will get hate comments? I'm sorry, huh? To be honest, I do think that people are quick to judge and give unsolicited advice online, but if you publish rage bait, don't get mad at people for raging on your behalf, especially if that video shows concerning behavior. What were you expecting the comments to say? Why would you put your loved one on blast for views? I would never do that to someone I love. I think that it's gross. What are your thoughts on relationship rage bait? Love you and the pod. The comment sections on these types of videos are always so funny because these people act like they couldn't see this coming from a mile away. But I think sometimes with this content, I just want to look at the creator and go, explain the punchline to me. Explain the joke. You thought this clip was funny. Please explain to me what is funny about it. And I think if they sit down and explain it, they kind of validate the comments from people being like, ew, what the fuck? Because like half the time these videos are like a wife recording her husband pretending he doesn't know how to run the dishwasher, or like he turned all the clothes in the wash pink, or, you know, just doing something like that where it's like, hello, what happened? What happened? This grown man doesn't know how to use the dryer. This grown man is doing something that is ridiculous to another grown person. And they click record and they think this is going to be a funny clip. And then other people see it and they're like, bro, what? What's the joke? Haha, my husband's a dummy. My husband's 45 years old and I still have to take care of him because he doesn't know how to do anything. Oh my God, he's so crazy. Not this crazy guy. This guy is crazy. And they think the comments are going to be like, OMG, ha ha ha. What? I love this silly guy. Except I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy. I have no love for him. All I'm witnessing is a grown adult man act like a baby. And I'm supposed to laugh at that? I'm supposed to think that's funny? I don't find that funny. I think that you're being held captive. I think you're a prisoner. Like, what are we talking about? And then people are in the comments like, girl, save yourself. And she's like, you're judging my relationship. Like, I didn't do anything. You posted this online. You posted this online like a funny joke. The punchline is that your husband is incompetent. Okay. That's what we're all saying in the comments too. Like, what did you think that you posted? But I think the truth is just that there are a lot of people out there that do find incompetence charming. And I hate to say it, but I think a lot of people do. I think we've all known at least one person in our lives. I've known a couple people like this where their partner will do or say like baffling things. And they're in the corner like, oh my God, this crazy guy. Like, oh my God, he's so annoying. And they're like rolling their eyes or being like, honey, stop, don't do that. But at the same time, they're like looking to the right and like smiling as they roll their eyes. Like there's something endearing about it, even though they will actively say out loud, like, no, don't do that. Or what the hell? You're being so dumb. You're so silly. Oh my God, this guy over here. Like they're expressing some kind of disdain for what's happening, but it's still like silly and charming enough to them that they're giggling about it. I've never understood that. But I feel like I've witnessed people do that my whole life. I have more often seen that from older generations than I have from my own generation, to be honest with you. I don't know many women my own age that I've seen doing this, but I have known several older women throughout my life to behave that way. I remember as a teenager witnessing older people in relationships react like that to their partners who like don't know how to make a box of Kraft mac and cheese, or act like totally fucking ill-equipped to do anything around the house. And I've seen women like giggle and hee hee and ha ha about that. And I have never found that funny. Like I remember, I'm not naming names here, but I knew a couple when I was growing up that if the wife was not around to cook, the husband basically would throw a nutty and pretend that he did not know how to cook. She was expected to cook every single night. And they had like schedules, and what they ate was like they would eat the same thing on Wednesdays, the same thing on Thursdays. And if the wife had plans or had to go pick the kids up from somewhere or do something, was on a work trip, whatever it was, if the wife was unavailable to cook, he was a nightmare about it and would act like it was like his biggest inconvenience not having anyone to cook for him, and he would be forced to go eat out at restaurants and be unhealthy, which then became her problem as well. I'm sure that everyone knows maybe one couple that's a little like that. Very traditional gender roles going on in that relationship. Probably much older people, I would assume. For me, it was that way. And they've been living like this their whole lives. Like, these are people that probably got married pretty young or have been together since they were really young and are living like this very gendered dynamic. And they just accept it as being the reality, and they find it funny. They have to find humor in it, because if they don't find humor in it, they're just getting a divorce. You know what I mean? Like, they have to laugh at it, because if they don't laugh at it, all of a sudden it gets too real too quickly. Like, oh my God, this crazy guy, he doesn't know how to make himself a box of Kraft mac and cheese. He went out to a restaurant because I wasn't there to cook for him, and now he's blaming me for the fact that he's eating unhealthy all week. Because it's my job to take care of a grown man. Oh my God, this guy is crazy. Oh my God. My crazy husband. They have to laugh about it, because if they say out loud what's happening without it being a joke, it's like, you are a prisoner. What the hell are we doing? This is not an equal relationship. You married into becoming someone's maid, and you are happy about that, I guess. I don't know. Some people are wild, but then you give these people access to a phone and they get a little content brained and they want to go viral on the internet. And they're like, oh my God, we're going to post something funny on the internet to get views. But to them, something funny is the way they cope with their ain't shit husband every day. But when you post that online, all the other people that are like, what the fuck? It's not 1920. Like, women can do things now. You don't have to obey this fucking loser that lives in your house. Kick him out, maybe. What the fuck? They post it online because that's silly goofy to them. It goes viral. People are all in the comments like, bro, what the hell is wrong with your husband? Why are you showing me this like I'm supposed to laugh at it? Like, divorce him. And then they get mad that other people are hating on their husband. Like, I didn't need to know this. I didn't have access to this information before you gave it to me. Your husband is a loser. That's why we're laughing, right? That's why you posted this. Some of us just don't find that funny, though. Some of us don't think it's funny when your husband's a loser. Some of us find that very depressing and sad, because we're not required to marry losers anymore. Women have rights. Like, did you not know? That's how I feel when I watch these videos. I'm like, what? The joke, you posted it. You know that the joke you were making was that your husband is a loser. The rest of us just don't find that funny, though. You seem to find it hilarious that your husband's a loser. I'm very upset now. You've ruined my day. I really don't know what people think is going to happen when they post those types of things, but I do routinely love the comment sections and people just being like, what? What did you think this was going to be? And I think that people should keep commenting on those things. She posted that to say that he was a loser. So let's give him the reaction they ordered, you know? That's how I feel about it. And with that, I'm going to throw us on over to the post show. So if you're interested in keeping these good vibes going, you can join us over on Liver Girls HQ on Patreon. And if not, be sure to follow at Emotionally Online Pod on Instagram and TikTok. Follow me at Maddie Drospec. All of those links are in the description down below. And I will see you guys next week for the Pumpcast. Bye.